Rick and Morty just made the world's richest man unfollow them on Twitter.
Rick, Morty, why me? Did something happen to Elon Musk in your own reality?
That's not even the worst part. They accidentally destroyed a Hollywood superstar's marriage on live TV. Well, sorta.
Best bloody day of my life.
My wedding was pretty great too.
I was talking about the Tony Award.
Yeah!
But here's what nobody talks about. One celebrity got so offended they called the creators drugged out lunatics. Another one, they're still signing autographs of their own humiliation and loving it. A billionaire who needed tusks to be likable. A Hollywood hero whose wedding joke aired right after his divorce. A hip-hop icon turned literal space alien. A horror legend whose nightmare got therapy. 4 celebrities, 4 different meltdowns. Only one never came back to the show. Today we're ranking whose ego Rick and Morty destroyed the most and whose reaction was the most brutal. A grizzled Rick Sanchez slams a heist blueprint down on the table, facing a goateed guy sporting giant boar tusks. Rick, Morty, why me? Did something happen to Elon Musk in your reality? Asks the Tusked Man casually. Yes, Elon Musk is in the house. Well, an alternate universe version of him. Rick has recruited Elon Tusk, CEO of Tuskla, get it, and proud owner of 2 enormous tusks protruding from his mouth to pull off an interdimensional bank robbery, or something equally insane. The kicker, those tusks aren't just for show, they apparently made Tusk a better Elon. In the episode One Crew Over the Crew-Coo's Morty, it's made clear that Elon Tusk is way more humble and team-oriented than the Elon we know, all thanks to his dental upgrades. Rick doesn't want the real Musk, he wants the one who actually admits he's not the smartest guy in the room. Ouch. Rick's crew assembles and pulls off the crazy heist with Elon Tusk's help, and the tusked billionaire proves shockingly agreeable, taking orders, cracking self-deprecating jokes, basically being the anti-Musk. This episode spoofs heist movies to a T. Every recruit scene has someone yelling, "You son of a BU, I'm in." It's a blink and you miss it roast of Musk's ego. The show literally imagines he'd be a nicer guy if only he had tusks. For Elon Musk, whose confidence is about as subtle as a rocket launch, seeing a cartoon doppelganger of himself, whose only improvement is more humility, had to sting. Rick and Morty effectively turned one of the world's richest, loudest innovators into a humble sidekick, and did it with a straight face. Imagine, Musk likes to cast himself as a real-life Tony Stark, and here he was, reduced to the guy with tusks who follows Rick's orders. That's some hefty humble pie to swallow. Musk, by the way, was a well-known Rick and Morty superfan in our reality. He'd often profess his love for the show, so this cameo must have been a thrill for him, at least until he realized the joke might be on him. At first, Musk seemed genuinely tickled. He even changed his Twitter handle to Elon Tusk, playing along with the joke. But not long after, the honeymoon was over. The one-time superfan quietly hit the unfollow button on Rick and Morty's official account. Coincidence? Or did those tusks poke a little too hard at his ego? Either way, our man Elon went from guest star to ghost. He has not been back on the show since. Rick's takedown was surgical. No rant, no insult, just a pair of tusks and a personality tweak, and it may have done the job. All in a day's work for Rick Sanchez. And if humbling the world's richest genius wasn't enough, Rick and Morty's next trick would strike a Hollywood superstar at the worst possible moment. Rick's next target, Wolverine. Well, sort of. Smash cut to Hugh Jackman, yep, the Wolverine, standing in his animated living room, hosting a booze-fueled rager with Rick and Mr. Poopy Butthole. Because of course Rick knows Hugh Jackman, Rick knows everybody. Fittingly, this season 7 premiere is titled How Poopy Got His Poop. Back, and apparently the answer involves partying with Hugh Jackman. Jackman's being the ultimate gracious host, showing off his swanky pad, trophies on the mantle, even a giant framed wedding photo on the wall. He raises a glass and smiles up at that photo. The best bloody day of my life. He sighs sincerely. Beside him, Mr. Poopy Butthole, who's actually going through a divorce himself, sniffles and nods.
My wedding was pretty great too.
Jackman glances over and smirks. I was talking about the Tony Award. Blam! In a split second, Hugh flings his Tony trophy into the air like a clay pigeon, and Rick blasts it to pieces with a laser gun while Jackman whoops with glee. Got whiplash yet? That scene just careened from heartfelt to absurd. It's the kind of manic blink and you miss it humor Rick and Morty thrives on. On the surface, it's a throwaway gag, random, outrageous, apparently harmless. Jackman himself lent his voice for the bit, clearly down to poke fun at his own image. But here's the kicker. Reality made this joke super awkward. See, the animators used a real snapshot from Hugh Jackman's 1996 wedding as the model for that on-screen photo of him and his wife. So the joke is that Hugh thinks winning a Tony was better than his wedding day. Kinda brutal, right? Now brace yourself for cosmic irony. By sheer awful luck, this episode aired literally days after Jackman announced he was separating from his wife of 27 years. What was meant as a cheeky fourth wall breaking line suddenly felt like a gut punch. It's as if he recorded a love song and it dropped the same week his marriage imploded. Even Wolverine's healing factor can't save you from that level of cringe. Imagine watching a cartoon of yourself crack a marriage joke the same week you announce a divorce. Instant cringe. To his credit, Jackman, being the class act he is, has not said a peep against the show. What's he gonna do? Angrily tweet at a cartoon mad scientist? But you can bet fans' jaws were on the floor when they realized the timing. One moment we're cackling at a surprise Hugh Jackman cameo. The next we're all collectively went smiling because the joke hit way too close to home. You couldn't script a more unfortunate coincidence if you tried. If Elon's ego was bruised in private, Jackman's got dinged in front of the whole world. We're only halfway through our ego trip though, because the next artist actually clapped back at Rick and Morty in real time. Picture this. Giant alien heads, the Cromulons, appear in the sky and threaten to obliterate Earth unless our heroes deliver a hit song. Humanity's last hope for a featured artist, Ice-T. Yes, the one and only rapper turned actor Ice-T, drafted into Rick's insane Save the World plan. In the season 2 episode, Get Schwifty, Rick and Morty find themselves on stage trying to improvise the weirdest song ever to appease these planet-sized heads. Morty, desperate for a sick verse, turns to Ice-T, who's chilling on stage in sunglasses and a gold chain. At first, Ice-T just yawns. He literally could not care less. And then it gets even crazier. Moments later, we learn Ice-T isn't even human. He's a hyper-intelligent immortal alien made of living ice from the distant planet Alphabetrium, exiled to Earth in humanoid form as punishment for not caring about anything. Yes, the show straight up says the real Ice-T is an alien who got frozen because he was too cool to care. You can't make this up unless you're a Rick and Morty writer. When the Cromulons start vaporizing continents, Ice-T finally decides to give a damn. He sheds his human disguise and morphs into his true form, a floating, water-like letter, T, and helps Rick drop the ultimate catchy jam, Get Schwifty. Oh yeah. Thanks to Ice-T's last-minute heroics, Earth is saved. In return, the cosmic beings reward him. In a post-credits scene, Ice-T, now transformed into Water T, is welcomed back to Alphabetrium and given his immortality back. The dude even flies off to battle evil Numbericons in space, spitting one-liners and water droplet wrath. It's one of the show's weirdest, most beloved gags, turning a hardcore hip-hop legend into a literal liquid superhero to save the day. Fans ate it up, but the real Ice-T? At first, he was not amused. This man has seen some bizarre stuff in his career. He spent decades on Law & Order SVU busting perps, after all. But nothing could have prepared him for waking up to see himself depicted as a glowing alien ice cube on Adult Swim. When a fan tweeted the clip at him, Ice-T's initial response was basically a bemused WTF. He hopped on Twitter and wrote, "This happens with cartoonists after lots of drugs. Fen crazy." Translation: these Rick and Morty guys must be high as heck. Not exactly a glowing endorsement. You can practically hear the bewildered chuckle. He basically called the Rick and Morty team a bunch of drugged out lunatics. And honestly, if you only saw that out of context, who could blame him? Now, Ice-T was not so much furious as he was flabbergasted, and maybe just a tad bit salty. Over time, he actually chilled out about it. He later tweeted that he got a lot of love from his Rick and Morty appearance and even encouraged folks to check it out. In fact, fun trivia. By season 7, Ice-T joined the show for real, voicing a character in a new episode, playing the alien father of his own Water T persona. So he ultimately embraced the madness that initially weirded him out. But that first knee-jerk tweet says it all. His ego took a quick sucker punch. Rick and Morty made a living rap icon briefly question if the creators were on an LSD bender. It's one thing to be parodied on a goofy sci-fi cartoon. It's another to be parodied as a dispassionate cosmic ice cube who has to learn to care. That's a special kind of calling out. So far, we've seen a tech mogul quietly bow out, a movie star caught in a mortifying coincidence, and a rapper airing his bewilderment to the world. How do you top that? By going after a literal nightmare. In Rick and Morty's first season, our heroes get chased through a twisted dreamscape by a legally safe Freddy Krueger knockoff, a disfigured goon in a fedora and striped sweater who growls "B.E." at the end of every threat. Meet Scary Terry, folks. He's an obvious parody of Freddy Krueger, right down to the mini swords on his fingers and the melted face, but with Rick and Morty's trademark silliness absolutely turned up to 11. Scary Terry has saggy pink skin, a tattered green sweater, and a serious vocabulary problem. He can't finish a sentence without the B word. In one scene, he screams, "You can run, but you can't hide, bah." To which Rick, hiding with Morty, whispers in annoyance, "Wow, original line there." The character was an instant fan favorite because he takes a terrifying horror icon and makes him kind of a joke. It's basically the show saying, "Freddy Krueger? What a loser. Here's our version." And he's got a family and insecurity issues, which makes him almost adorable. Turns out even dream demons have bad days. Now, if anyone's ego might bristle at being lampooned, you'd think it'd be the horror legend who originally is Freddy, Robert Englund. Scary Terry is literally a bargain bin Freddy with a different name and a potty mouth. Rick and Morty turned Englund's iconic nightmare stalker into a goofy cartoon buffoon. You might expect Englund to be annoyed that his scary alter ego got dragged through the parody ringer, but guess what? He truly loves it. The man behind Freddy Krueger thinks Scary Terry is a riot. In one interview, Englund gleefully recounted how much he enjoyed the episode and even shared some trivia about it. He's mentioned that he signs lots of Scary Terry merchandise for fans, Funko Pops, posters, you name it, and that the parody is great and very funny. Imagine being a horror icon and having a silly cartoon version of your character become so popular that fans are constantly asking you to autograph it. Englund wears that as a badge of honor. Here's the best part. Rick and Morty didn't just parody Freddy, they completely defanged him. In the episode, How Do Rick and Morty Beat Scary Terry? Not with guns or explosions, but by giving the poor guy a little therapy. They sneak into Terry's nightmare, where he's panicking about showing up to class naked, and help him out, hand him some pants, boost his self-esteem, the whole thing. Grateful and a lot less murdery, Terry becomes their friend. By the next morning, he's having breakfast with the Smith family and cheerfully dropping his catchphrase as a term of endearment. They took the ultimate slasher villain and turned him into a chill dude who says, in a friendly tone, and Robert Englund found that hilarious. Freddy Krueger's legacy is so secure that even a parody where he's a bumbling dream demon only makes the original more iconic. Englund knows a good homage when he sees one. Far from being hurt, his ego got a nice little polish, proof that his creation is firmly entrenched in pop culture. So, a cartoon nightmare didn't faze its original creator at all. A tech billionaire got subtly roasted and perhaps did not love it. A Hollywood A-lister unknowingly spoofed his own love life and ended up with some secondhand embarrassment. A hip-hop legend got turned into a space alien and went WDF before ultimately laughing along. 4 real people, 4 very different reactions. Rick and Morty might be just a cartoon, but it's proven it can punch through the 4th wall and jab real people in real ways. The only question left, whose ego took the hardest hit? Was it Elon, who got the tusk treatment and then quietly noped out of the fandom, unfollow button and all? Was it Hugh, who bragged about the best day of his life, only to have life turn it into an awkward self-own on national TV? Was it Ice-T, who momentarily lost his chill and called the show out for being crazy before eventually laughing along? Or was it Robert Englund, who walked away unscathed and is probably still chuckling about the whole thing? We can't say for sure, and Rick's certainly not telling. So what do you think, BU?